everyone, welcome back to Chris's Cozy Corner. This is a little different from what I normally do, but this is something I do in my cozy corner when I'm feeling overwhelmed or I just need to get off my phone and just give myself 5, 10, 15 minutes of uninterrupted coloring time. It gives my brain a moment of ease. I'm not constantly hitting it with pangs of dopamine like when I'm doom scrolling, and I'm not stressed when I'm looking at spreadsheets or numbers or work stuff. This just gives my brain a little off-screen time, which is definitely needed. And in this video, we're doing the Cozy Girl Stress Relief Coloring Book by Jeanette Veronica. I'm trying to see if there's any. So I'm just now really getting into it. I think I got this back in December and I've really been enjoying it. And I decided to implement this in my videos on my channel. So come grab your coloring book, grab your puzzle, you can grab your journals, whatever you have, or maybe your book, and just sit with me, have some girl talk, and let's get into it. So today's coloring page I wanted to do was this one, and today I want to talk about my history of plant care and boundaries and taking care of yourself in a multitude of different ways. So yeah, I use the Yasme alcohol markers, I think they're called. They're the double-ended. They're really nice. I really enjoy them. This is the 48 color pack, which I think, is this 48 colors? I guess it must be, which is more than enough. Like, I've seen the packs of like 100 plus 120, and I think that's crazy. Like, this already to me is so much. I already think I should have got a 24 pack. Like, this is just too much. But I do like the color options, but when it comes to overconsumption, it's not really necessary. But I am happy I got this. No regrets. It wasn't too expensive. I'll link everything down below. And of course, you can use Crayola crayons or 99-cent coloring pencils. Like, it's really not that big a deal. You don't need what I have here in order to do this with me, okay? So let's talk about how I kill all my plants, okay? So I'm not a horrible plant mom. When I was in 2020, when everybody was like getting into plant care and everybody was buying a lot of plants, I was having a quarter life crisis. And in 2021, when I moved out to LA and got my own place, I was living by myself again, or living by myself for the first time, I think, actually. Without a roommate, without family. I was like, I want to be one of those plant people, because, you know, those people have to have some semblance of stability in their lives in order to maintain plants. And so that's what I did. I kind of went Home Depot plant nursery crazy in my first apartment, and I got all these plants. Of course, some of them died, and I took that to heart, that like I was a bad plant mom. And a lot of plants I bought just simply because they were really pretty and I wanted them, or like I saw them viral on the internet, viral online, and you know, I wanted to be like those girls. I wanted to be like those plant people, plant moms and dads that looked like so good at it. I was so jealous. So I'm gonna do vivid green. And I'm trying to decide, should I do the whole thing? Yeah, I'll do the whole thing. So I bought a lot of plants, killed a lot of plants, and I couldn't understand like what I was doing wrong. I did not do enough research when I was buying plants, and in hindsight, I wish I did better at that. Like, I wish I took the time to really delve into and research like what I was getting myself into. I've killed so many fiddle leaf figs. I've killed so many money trees just because I didn't have the stability that those plants needed and that like regular routine that would get them to thrive. And I was just in denial of myself. And there came a point where I did actually have a lot of plants, and I love them, and they were doing so well until they got hit with thrips, I think they're called. I'll put in a little like photo of what I'm talking about, the little white fuzzy guys that you don't think are bugs until they're like everywhere and you're like, this isn't nice. I think I got one that had an infestation, like one plant that had an infestation. And again, I didn't do my research and I put the plants all together and I think it just infected all my other plants. And I took that so personally that it killed all my plants. And I just felt like a bad plant mom. I mean, even my boyfriend was like, wow, you're really killing all these plants. I'm like, it's not me. I didn't mean it, you know? And then I also realized during this plant care journey that if my plants were doing well, that meant I was doing well. That meant I was mentally stable enough to take care of them and devote time to them and have some semblance of a routine and checking their moistness level or moisture level, making just, I had the capacity to give them more energy and more time. But when I was sad or stressed or moving or having any kind of like personal struggles, personal strife, I don't want to say depression moment, but I definitely wasn't okay at certain points. And the first things that were like a signal to me that I wasn't okay was that my plants were dying. Like, oh shit, like I am not doing good. Like I need to get my shit together because I'm killing all these plants. So that was an indication to me like, I should probably, you know, if I lose any of these plants, I'm not going to replace them. I'm going to take some time and really research what I can handle, how much effort I'm willing to put into plants, and I decided to slow down on the plant mom thing. And I realized maybe I'm not meant to be a plant mom, and that's okay. Like, I'm not meant to have a room full of plants and know how every plant works. I am better at taking care of some plants than other people, I would say. I know some people in my real life come to me like, oh, what should I do? And things like that. And I'm able to give pretty basic, solid advice. But I'm not having like a green room or a greenhouse in my house. I just do not physically or mentally have the capability for that. And honestly, like I said, when they die, I take it so personally. So now we have about like 5 or 6 plants that I'm able to maintain and love and pour into. I'm actually doing a bad job of it right now because we just recently moved and I've been stressed and a lot of things have been happening, but I'm kind of ready to like sit back, repot them, give them some love and attention and water and bring them back to life. They're not dead, but they're not doing great. And that comes into how I feel about boundaries with goal setting and your priority setting and your commitments in life. I think, and I'm a huge example of this, where I will take on so much and I will burn myself out so hard that I don't know when to stop or I don't know how to deal with it. And then the come down of it is so hard and it's so harsh and it's almost painful to deal with because you're spread so thin over so many areas or aspects of your life that you can't pour into other areas. And because you're pouring so little into so many pockets, none of them are able to flourish. And it's the same with plants. Like if you take a watering can and you divide it by 8 plants, there's the only 8 plants are going to get like this much. And that's not enough for a plant to thrive and grow and support its own growth and photosynthesize and all that stuff. And it's the same for being human. Like if we have too small of a cup and are pouring into too big of aspects of our life or too many aspects of our life, we are leaving none to grow ourselves. So that's how I feel about it now in hindsight. Is there are things that I prioritized back in the day that I wanted to be better at, I wanted to be good at, I wanted to be proficient at, and I burnt out in all other aspects. Like I poured too much in one thing and my plants suffered. I poured too much into one thing and my relationship suffered, or my home care suffered. My house was a mess. My kitchen was disgusting. Like I didn't know how to compartmentalize other aspects of my life, and I didn't know how to let go of certain things. And when it finally came crumbling down and I was burnt out and I find myself kind of struggling, I had to take a moment, pull back the layers, and reflect on what was important to me. And at that time, what do I have the capacity to pour into, and what is not serving me anymore? What can be cut back and what can be removed completely? In plants, for example, if you have a dead or a dying leaf or stem or plant within a bushel of plants, the best course of action is to cut it back completely or remove it entirely. And like plants, when you remove these dead or dying pieces, it allows all the water and the nutrients in the soil to better be disseminated into the rest of the plant. So you're holding on to this like yellowing leaf because you're like, but it's so big and it's so beautiful, and it was so big, it was so beautiful, and now it's just like yellowing and dying. Sure, it's a beautiful part of the plant, but if it's no longer serving you, no longer beautiful, no longer helpful, then it's best to just trim it back or trim it away or remove it, and allow the other leaves to get those nutrients that leaf is sucking up and be disseminated to the others, and those leaves will flourish and they will become greener and they will get bigger and they will be beautiful. And I know we're talking about plants and everything and I've seen it happen in plants. It was so hard for me to do that in the beginning with my plants, but it's honest to God, like quality advice. And then now when I look at myself, I'm like, okay, what can I scale back? What can I remove from my life completely? What is no longer serving me so I can be better somewhere else? And I think right now with this whole rebrand trend and resetting and goal setting and SMART goals and all this stuff, of course that's quality advice, but I think what happens is that with trends like this, and I'm saying this as someone who loves this kind of content. I love a New Year's reset. I love a monthly reset. I love setting goals. I love creating habits. I love creating systems, but they are just so overloaded with advice and recommendations on how you can be the better you. And it's almost too much. It's too much. And let me just say it as someone who thought they could do it all. You can't do it all. You can't do it all. And you have to sacrifice some things for others. Of course, there are people, maybe there are people that can do it all. And I give it up to them. Like, wow, good for you. But as a normal, full-time working woman in a relationship, and I had a dog, but who had priorities elsewhere, I couldn't wake up at 3:45 in the morning and go to the gym and do dry brushing and meal prep and go for a 45-minute run and get 15,000 steps a day and get enough protein and, like, what else do they say? Create a signature scent and, I don't know, Pilates an hour a day, like all these things that are quality advice in snippets. I think you have to take everything that they say with a grain of salt and be like, okay, I like what this person is providing. I like what their life looks like. What is realistic for me to implement at this time? And if I implement that in my life, what pieces of my life am I willing to cut back in order to make room for this new habit, for this new hobby, for this new pace of life? Like, I know if I became that person that woke up at 3 a.m. and worked out and did that and just did too much early in the day, I would be a mean fucking grandma. I would be angry all the time. My relationship would suffer because he's not waking up at 4 a.m. with me, no way. And, you know, it would pull away from our quality time because both of our love languages is quality time. And for me, my relationship at this time is one of my priorities. And anything that takes away too much of that time, I'm not saying I can't implement new habits without detrimental to my relationship. I'm just saying doing too much and wearing myself thin is not worth it to me, because I love being with my partner, or I love spending time with my dog and making time for them and doing long quality walks with them and stuff like that. I'm not willing to give that up just so I can say, oh yeah, I'm a Pilates girl. I go at 5 in the morning every day. Like, that's not realistic for me. Anyways, I think those girls are amazing. I think the trend of wanting to better yourself is never an issue. I love self-improvement content, but I think there's a level 2 of it that is incredibly unrealistic for a normal working woman. Because you also have to realize that a lot of these influencers work completely on Instagram, or like that's their goal, to be 100% content creators and nothing else. And so they can pour into themselves and do all of these things without it ruining other portions of their life, because their life is the job, right? The job is self-improvement. Whereas normal people, there are priorities outside of just self-improvement. Everyone should be working on themselves and being the best selves they can be, but it has to be a healthy level of commitment. And I also think there's a video that just critiqued this rebrand trend, and in it she describes that it's more the urgency, and that is something I completely agree with. I find that it's not even the advice that they're giving that is inherently wrong. Like, I do imagine that lymphatic drainage would be good for you, right? Or, you know, you should be aiming for drinking lots of water every day, and you should be, you know, taking time to do your skincare and just focus on your whole body's health rather than just your face, or all the wellness tips that are specific to your whole body wellness rather than just your skin. Like, how well is your gut? Like, yeah, you should probably take daily vitamins and stuff like that. But with that said, like that critique video mentioned, there's a level of urgency with it. Like, glow up in 1 week. Anybody who's actually been on any kind of self-improvement journey will tell you that it does not happen in a week. It's actually incredibly difficult and takes a lot of time and effort and discomfort, a little bit of pain maybe to some extent as far as like working out and stuff. And it's not easy. Self-improvement is not meant to be easy. It's not meant to be done in a day. And you will have to sacrifice a bit of yourself to reach that level that you want to be in. But again, back to my point, you can't do it all. You can't do it all at the same time. And I feel like the videos online right now are saying like you have to be able to do it all or you're not enough. And I think even being 1% better than you are right now tomorrow is improvement. Even if it's like 0.5% better, you know, maybe your new hobby or habit for this time in your life is, I want to journal. And then today you journal. And maybe tomorrow you don't journal, and maybe you fail on that, and that's okay. But you have the newfound intention to be better for yourself, to have that mental clarity, and that's still better than nothing. Maybe this is not a habit that will change overnight, that you can implement so quickly. It is going to take time, because daily journaling definitely takes like some time out of your day. Some people can journal in 10 minutes. I like to devote 30 minutes to myself to journal every day, and I really enjoy that. But I think you have to give yourself some grace, provide yourself some patience, and really, when you're ready to fully implement a new hobby or a new habit or a new lifestyle choice, you have to be prepared to cut back the pieces that no longer serve you. And I think that comes with a bit of discomfort that people are not willing to subscribe to, because part of building new habits is breaking the habits that don't work. So if your habit is at night you stay up all night and you like to play Sims, like, good for you. But then your newfound habit, like, that you want to implement is you want to go to bed, you want to wake up early. With that, you have to break the habit of sleeping late. So it's a trade-off. And that's something that I feel like is lost in this newfound rebrand, goal setting, smart goals, blah, blah, blah. In my personal life, do we like this red? I don't know if I like this rosy red. I think I'm gonna go for this color. Let's go for something a little deeper. Yeah. For example, for me, I wanted to put more time into content creation and making videos, but that means I have to come home and know what I'm gonna film and take time to do that. And I had to break out of the habit of coming home and laying down on the couch and doom scrolling. Like, I had to be productive when the sun was still out, because that is the best time for filming. But when I come home, I'm a lazy bag of bones, and that just no longer serves me. My screen time no longer serves me. Do I enjoy it? Do I like doom scrolling? Of course I do. I love it, but it no longer serves me. So dialing back that habit of coming home and laying on the couch is one thing I'm still working on, but it's a welcome change into my life. I'm really excited. I find myself enjoying content creation and making videos and editing and things like that. Another thing I want to implement is being more social and putting myself out there and meeting friends, and that means I'm spending less time, my off time, with my partner, and communicating that to him effectively and respectfully, and be like, hey, this is a priority of mine. I want to make more friends outside of us. I love you. It has nothing to do with you. I just want to do this for me. And he has welcomed that change. He's so excited for me to make new friends, and hopefully those friends have boyfriends that he can also be friends with. He's like, yeah, you just do all the legwork and make friends, and then hopefully they have boyfriends. But yeah, just knowing how much I can dial back. Of course, I don't want to like making new friends over like the relationship that I am currently in, because that will always be my priority. But I don't want him to be the center of my world, obviously, and my only source of friendship and comfort and support while I live here in LA. So that's why I'm doing that. And he, thankfully, is completely on board with it. He loves the idea. He's really excited for me to make friends, and I'm very, very lucky. Should we go blue? Maybe a cobalt? Let's try it. I'm not sure I like that, but whatever. It's already done. It's already done. So tell me down below what you guys want to dial back in, what you guys are hoping to pour more of yourselves in, and what are you willing to sacrifice to be your better self? Has there been anything in your life that you realize too late is taking too much of your bandwidth? Or is there something in your life, like, I don't know, plants, that are a litmus test for your mental health? For me, it was definitely my plants. Like how well they are is how well I was doing in my brain. I have some friends that are like, oh my God, I know I'm not doing well when I log into, what is that game? Like Hidden Valley? No, that's Ranch. Star Valley, or one of those other Nintendo Switch games, and they're like, when all of my plants are dead in the game, or like my farm is dying, I know I'm not taking care of myself, that I'm working too hard because I'm not devoting enough time to something that I love. So yeah, comment below what your take on this is, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.